Hello guys, this is my fourth video of this session, and in this video I will be covering basics of Python as we have already installed Anaconda and Jupyter Notebook. It's night time. It's now time to do some practical work. Let's start with some basics of Python. So Python is a high-level dynamically typed multi-paradigm programming language. Python code is often said to be almost like pseudocode, since it allows you to express very powerful ideas in very few lines of code while being very readable. Because Python is most easiest language among all these, as compared to C and C++, Java type. Python is really very easy because the syntax are really easy. But here is an implementation of classic quick short algorithm. So now we here is okay. Sorry, let me remove this. I think I have removed the sorting area. So what I was saying, like Python is easy, but the main thing we need to focus on the indentation of our code. Like we cannot uh, write a code with any particular spaces. Like we can't write this code like this. It will going to show you indentation error. So we need to focus on indentation. It is a must thing. So let's start with integers, how we can declare a integer or whatever. So let me insert a cell below. So a is equal to, if I am going to put a is equal to 7, then it is basically we don't need to write any semicolon or something. It's just shift and enter, and that's this code is run. So now if I change the value of a is equal to 9, and I will be printing the f. Okay, write some logical meaningful Python. Then it will be showing you Python space 9, right? Right, this thing. So it has just convert a integers into a string, and it is just combined. But now if we type like uh, wait a second, insert below. If we want to know the type of a variable, then we can just type a, which is actually showing me like int. But when we have adjusted 9, we have changed it into a string. Like if I do something like this, then it will be going to change into like a string, and it will now be, it is now a string. Data a is now a data type of having a data type of string. Now if we talk about float, we don't need to just we don't need to put something like float or percentage of f. It's just we need to do some point, and now it's like we have a float variable in x. So next thing, it's a boolean values. Boolean can be defined by typing true or false without quotations. We don't need to write in double quotes, so we can just write true and false. It's all Python always read itself like it's a true or it's a boolean value or not. So b1 is equal to 2, then we are checking like b type b1 is what to bool value, so it is going to show me as like bool. If I change it into integer, now it is going to show me integer. And we can check in b2 as well. Now it's time to know a little about strings. It's all the basics of the Python. Strings, literals can be defined with any of single quotes, double quotes, or a triple quotes, all the given same result with two important differences. If you quote with single quote, you do not have to escape double quotes and vice versa. If you quote with triple quote, your string can span multiple lines. Guys, let me show you. I am uh, quoting into one single quote, then it's easy. I can show you. Now you can see uh, it's just print with single quote, and if I print it with double quotes, it is also going to print it just this single quotes represent it is a string value, nothing else. You don't have to worry about this single quotes. And if I want to know about which type is name one variable is, so it is showing me us like a string. And if I try to use triple quotes like b is equal to um, now we can see we can write like j a, and we can write into different lines. Now I can see what type is of my b variable is. So it's basically a string type, and if we want to, if we are going to do it in a double quote, then it will not be remain as a string. uh, like you can see it's basically give 4, and and now you can see there are only double quotes, and now it's not a string variable, it's showing invalid syntax. Because if we apply double quotes here and double quotes here and remove some quotes, we now you can see, now it will be going to show us like a string. So it's easy. It's in this line, string letters can be defined with any of single quotes, double quotes, and triple quotes. So complex numbers. A complex letter can be created by using notation x plus yj, where x is the real number and y is the imaginary number. As if you have read about complex number, it is always in the notation of x plus y and j, and y will where will y is where y is the imaginary component. Complex number, note that the use of j to specify the imaginary part. J is always helps in specifying the imaginary part here in this notation. So now if you can see this x is here is 1.0, it is a float number, and where y is equal to y is minus 2.0, it's also float, and we are multiplying it with j, where j specify the imaginary part, and we can change it here as well. Y instead of j, instead of y. Now it's actually complex number, and now I can also print about the value of x, not value of x. We can provide value of j here. J is our complex number, and we can also write the real and imaginary value by x j dot real and j dot imaginary. It's easy. It's all the value of j real is minus 1.0, and value of j imaginary is minus 2.0, as we have seen above. Now move on to variables. Defining a variable in Python is defined through assignment. Uh, there is no concept of declaring a variable outside that assignment, as I have told you earlier. 10th is a integer now because we have stored an integer number into it. And dynamic typing, I have already shown you how we can write the string values or integer value. That's how we write integer value, and that's how we write string value. And strong typing, while Python allows you to be very flexible with your types, you must still be aware of what those types are. Certain operations will require certain types as argument. Like we can see here, we are concatenating two things, like we are day plus string one. We can also do it just by just by adding one into that in the column, and it's easy. uh, Next thing, this behavior is different from some other loosely typed languages. If you were to do the same thing in JavaScript, you would get a different result. In Python, however, it is possible to change the type of an object through bulletin functions. As we can see, bulletin functions are the string and this braces are the mainly representations of functions. So now simple expressions, booleans evaluations. Boolean expression is created with the keywords and or not and is. For example, as we have done the boolean expression, there are three or four types of boolean expression, which are and, or, not, and is. And I am going to show you, like if we do 1 and 0, that always gives us 0. So basically same thing is happening here, true and false giving us false, and true or false is giving us true. Then next, not true means opposite of not true, and not one is opposite of one, like 0. And not true is opposite of same thing. True is true. If true is true, is true is true, and true is false. True is false. True is always false. Like, it's little bit complicated, not complicated, just a tricky. A is A, true. If A is B, then it is false. It's easy. Now we are moving forward to if else, and if. Um, this is a simple else if statement. If else statement. Now if our I integer is 1, and if I is less than 3, print less than 3. And if also if I less than 2, print f less than. We can change it as less than 2. And if I is less than 5, then less than 5, else 5 or more. It's basically about the first thing and first output. If we are going this I is is smaller than 3, okay, because it is 1, then it is printing less than 3. And also it is going into this if statement, because indentation of this if is inside this if. It is actually a nested if case, and it is printing less than 2 also. But it is not going into this elif statement, because it is actually also true, but it is not going into this elif statement, because the first statement is right, the and the statement whichever comes first in if else case, and which is right, then our code goes into that if and then our code gets into that condition, and do the and run that type of code. And if we let me take it as um, 4. Now it is going inside this this elif statement, and it is going to print as less than 5. See, and if I print it as 5, then it is going to print 5 or more. So it's easy. If else is we have already uh, read this and some other um, languages as well. So now it's time to read some about list. The first container type that we will look at is the list. This is actually a container type that we will look at is this a list. A list represents an order mutable collection of objects. You can mix and match any type of object in a list, add to it and remove from it all. Creating empty list. To create an empty, you can simply empty bracket or use the list function with no arguments. As you can see, this is our list, and this is also helps you create a list. This is a function to create a list. And initializing. Okay, let me give you guys something else. We can also check the type of L, and it is showing us as a list. So initializing list, you can initialize a list with content of any sort using the same square bracket notation. The list function also takes an iterable as a single argument and returns a shallow copy of that iterable as a new list. A list is one of such iterable, as we will see soon, and we will see other later. List, we can write it as this type. We can write string values and integer values or float values into same, and that we can create two lists, and now we can concatenate two lists just by adding those two lists. And now our list is empty, and we can also take it into L, and now it's giving us the concatenation of these two lists. So let's move forward. A Python string is also a sequence of characters and can be treated as an iterative over those characters combined with the list function. A new list of the character. It's actually again same thing. Not it's mm, basically changing the string into a list by iterating through all the values of the strings. So now we can see, and it is just a for loop where we are printing the values inside a list. And we check for there is a syntax which I am going to show you for loop is like for fg takes some variable in L is our list, and we have to put a colon, and in the next line we need to press tab and print like next line, and it will always be a tab space away, print, and then we have to print fg, and it is printing the same thing. Now it's time to talk about some loops. uh, the for loop in Python is used to iterate over a sequence, list, tuple, string, or other iterator objects. Iterating over a sequence is called a traversal, as you know. Loop continues until we reach the last item in the sequence. The body of a for loop is separated from the rest of the code is using indentation. As I have told you earlier, indentation is a must in Python, and for the loop is also a must. We are taking a numbers. This is our list, as we have read it about earlier, and a variable to store the sum. We are going to store the sum of these three um, variables into sum. For we are using 4, and x is our variable. In numbers is our list, and numbers we are using full list here. And sum, we are actually providing empty empty variable to store the sum. So sum is equal to sum plus x. We are putting the sum first as the first we are going to take this, and then it is going to take this, and then it is going to take this, and it will show us this answer. And we can also like numbers comma 2 comma 3 and number. Okay, what happened actually? Okay, I'll take on this one. Sum is equal to sum plus I need to sum is equal to 0. That's how it done. So uh, as you guys getting this is a really simple thing. And for loop with else, we can also use for loop with else. As you can see, digits is equal to our upper list is having 0 1 and 5 in our list. And now we are going to iterate some iterate like in a variable. We take a variable for if x is equal to 3, then break as print no items left. It is going to print like uh, print wait a second, wait. Okay, now you can understand. Like we have this this for loop, and this is our variable x. In this list, we are checking if x double equal to 3, then break. We have x in our 0 list of first number, then it is directly breaking the whole loop, and it is going to it takes to directly to the print statement, which is like exit from loop. I think I should write exit loop. It is exiting the loop. And now if I write digits over here, now it's going to print no items left, and then it is going to print exit loop, because after completing this whole for and else thing, it's going to come out and print this exit loop statement as well. And if we talk about the while loop, n is equal to 10 and sum is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, while I is equal to less than n. I is less than n because n is over 10 and I is over 1. So then we have to keep on some adding the number 1 in the sum, and sum is 0, then we are actually adding 0 plus 1, and then 1 plus 1, then like is equal to sum is equal to 2, then 2 plus 1 like 3. That's how it is going to repeat. If I talk about 2, it is 2 here, and it's just going to print as 3 because 1 is less than, then it is going to 2. 2 is less than equal to 2 is equal to 2, then it is gone again going into the while loop, and then it is coming the 3 is greater than n. then it is going to exit the loop and the sum is 3, then it will print the sum is 3. It's easy, you can try it with myself, like you can do it in your computers. The range function, we can generate a sequence of number using range function. Range 10 will generate numbers from 0 to 9, 10 numbers. We can also define the start stop steps as a range start stop. These are the parameters of the range functions, like start, stop, step size. Step the size to default is 1 if not provided. If we do not provide the step size, then it is going to take 1 as in default. The function does not store all the values in the memory. It would be insufficient, so it remembers that the start, stop, step size and generates the next number on the go. To force this function to output all the items, we can use the function list. The following example will have, we are taking a range of 6. Then we have like 0 to 6. Now we need to list from range to 10, then it is going to 0 1 to 9, of course. And if we print the list range between, this is our start where we are going to start, and this is our stop, we are going to stop before 2, and minus 2 is our step size. After we put 8 our start, and then we need to go to 2. We are actually subtracting minus as being minus 2 as a step size. We are actually subtracting minus 2 in 8, and then it is going to print 6, and then it is going to 4, and then it is going to 2. But actually the stop size should not be the same as we are getting. Like here we are getting 2, but we cannot print 2 because it is the stop size of our command, of our code. So this is actually what it is. Then we have print list range 2, start from 2, then 20, and we have step size of 5, like 2 7 12, then 17 17. After it is 22, but because of 20 our stops stop stop size stop, then we are not going to then it is not going to print 22, and then it will going to remain it as 17. Same we can do it in this as well. And now we can move forward to, we can use the range function in range. Like we have John like is equal to pop or rock jazz Sapna, then iterate over the list over the things. As we have list, length of John is equal to uh, let me print you length of, okay, use the print segment. Now it is going to print like we have 4 values, length of John, and for I in range. Range is like 4 minus 1 3 is going to be our starting point, because 4 it is this, and we are going to minus 1, and 3 is our starting point, and stopping point is 0, and minus 2 is our step size. So we are printing this like print I like John I, like John I is going to be range from minus 2, length is 4, minus 3 3, minus 2 minus 1. uh, First is going to be 3. It is going to be like it is going to be like 4 minus 3, it is going to be like genre is equal to here, we are putting 3 here, so it will be Sapna, because 0 1 2 3, this is Sapna, and then -2, then it will be going to as a row because we are minus 3 minus 2 is 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. So 0 1, John 0, John 1, John 3, John 4. So we actually print in John 4 and John 3 and John 1. So I like Sapna and I like row. Break and continue statement in Python. Break and continue statement, uh, this actually is getting bigger than I thought, so it's okay. Break and continue statement in Python. Break and continue statement can alter the flow of a normal loop. Loops iterate over a block of code until test expression is false, but sometimes we wish to terminate the current iteration or even the whole loop without checking the text expression. The break and continue statement are used in these cases. Break statement terminates a loop containing it. Control of the program flows after the body of the loop. If break statement is inside a nested loop inside another loop, break will terminate the innermost loop. Now you can see, for as I've told you earlier, the help of break, what a break do. I've told you in this loop as well. Break actually break the uh, loop where it satisfy when the condition gets satisfied. It's like if value is double equal to I, we are performing this thing, and then I came, and then we need to get break this whole loop and directly go to the end function. And continue function helps in continuing the uh, iteration except the condition where the condition is true, like the value double equal to I, then this loop has ignored the this condition and continued to the n and g. That's how continue and break work. So it is actually types. It's that is all about typing and something. I think it is enough of the basics, and we can going to move forward and for the Python next Python class. So bye bye, take care.